Testing, testing.
So we're going to go ahead and start. I want to thank all of you for coming. It's 9:06. We're going to get started. And thank you for coming to the Influential Educator Awards ceremony. This is the time that we're going to have for our seniors to take a moment and thank someone that influenced them in the time that they were here in Cotulla or somewhere else, that helped them through the time that they were students. And I think it's a really important thing. There were some changes. Typically, last year, these were called the Bell Awards, and it was the top 10 students. And this year, we were a little more inclusive. We thought, and we believe that there are students that, yes, that are in the top 10 who have someone who have influenced them. But I believe, and the staff also believes, that there are students that are not necessarily within the top 10 that have an educator or someone in general that has influenced them positively, whether they're in the top 10 or not. And so we, or in the top 15, so we asked the seniors, and we just kind of left it open last week, and we said, if you would like to thank someone, anyone, you are welcome to. And so they sent us emails saying, you know, I would like the opportunity to thank someone. And then those are the people who are now on the list. And we have 21 students who would like to thank someone today. And I think this is going to be a really cool event because it's inclusive and it's amazing. So I do want to say that, and share a story about someone who influenced me, right? So I will get the ball rolling because some of you are a little bit nervous, and so we'll get through this by me going first because I'm also nervous. So I'll take it for the team. I'll go first. And so I grew up in Freer. I'm a Freer Buckaroo, right? Graduated in 1996, and when I was in Freer, I kind of was really into band. But unfortunately, the band was really small, and we went through band directors like every year. So although I liked band, never really connected with a band director. My freshman year, you know, I joined an art class because I was, in my family, we were all just kind of artsy and craftsy, right? So my brother could draw, my sister could draw, my mom did crafts. So I kind of like joined art just to. And at that point, I really liked comic books, and particularly X-Men comic books. And I only bought comic books because I like to draw Wolverine. It's ridiculous, right? So there's a point. So I drew Wolverine over and over and over, hundreds and thousands of times, and in this journal. And when I took an art class for the high school, I had an art teacher, and her name was Cheryl Smith. And she went by Cherry, like the fruit cherry. And she was an amazing creature. I never met anyone like her. She had like these really big eyelashes. I just remember she had they just stood straight up, right? And she wore these crazy outfits, similar to the shirts that I was wearing last week. She just had those outfits. And then she had very large 90s platinum blonde hair, right? And so she was not shy at all. And I just wanted to stay in this bubble, like, leave me alone, like, just leave me alone. And so she was not that kind of person. And so the first time I kind of was in her class, we did like a drawing assignment, and I could draw whatever she asked us to do, and she really liked that. But then my spiral was next to me, because we didn't have phones the way that you do, so like we actually had like tangible objects that we kind of did stuff in, and so I had a spiral. I didn't have a diary, but I drew, right? So she immediately like opened it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like in my space, right? This lady is in my space. And she's like looking at all the pages, you know, like all the ways that I have drawn Wolverine and all the X-Men, right? And then she like takes it over to all the classmates. She's like, look what he drew. Look at this. And I'm like devastated, right? So this lady is just like crazy, but I kind of liked her, but like she's making me really uncomfortable. So then, you know, Art 1, Art 2, really interesting lady. And then she's also the person, you know, she said, I think you should be an FTA. And I was like, what's that? And she's like, that's Future Teachers of America. I think you'd like that. And I'm like, immediately I said, no, right? And she said, no, I think you should. So she picks up the phone from the classroom phone, and she calls Dr. Blatton, who was the FTA coach, whatever. And she's like, I have a student, he's gonna be an FTA. And then I heard over the phone, like I wasn't supposed to hear this conversation, but then Dr. Blatton said no, right? And so then they were fighting over the phone about why I should be an FTA and why I shouldn't be an FTA. And then immediately I was like, well, why can't I be an FTA, right? So I think they tricked me. So immediately I was like, well, I'm gonna be an FTA, right? Because you think I shouldn't be, I'm an FTA. So there I was, I'm Future Teachers of America, taught elementary, taught middle school, we did our lesson plans, and that's how I kind of started liking education. So then there was only Art 1 and Art 2, but I really liked the art class, and so they created Art 3 and Art 4 for me because it's freer and there's like nobody else that could draw, right? It's just me. So then I just had like this corner of the classroom where Miss Smith just let me be. And then eventually I kind of helped her, right? I became her aide. And so I started making slip for her for clay, and I started prepping her brushes, and I started doing stuff with the paints. And I didn't realize that she was kind of training me to be an art teacher, but again, tricking me. So I'm doing these things for her. And then, so like I'm a senior, and she says, what are you gonna do now when you graduate? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I got a job at Super S, right? And she goes, no, but like after, what are you gonna do? I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do after. And she goes, you should go to college. And I'm like, I don't think I can because I'm poor, like my family can't pay for it. And my mom said like I have to work to help them. And so I really shouldn't do that. And so like Miss Smith was like, your family's bills are like your family's bills, they're not your bills, right? They're like somebody else's. And so that shouldn't be a thing. And so I remember this point where she forced me to fill out the FAFSA because we didn't have like really great counselors like you do, where they took you aside and helped you fill out stuff for grants and scholarships and stuff. Miss Smith helped me do that. And I remember I needed like my family's like income information, and my mom was like, you don't need that because you're not gonna go to college. And Miss Smith was like, you need it. And it was weeks where my mom was like, you don't need that. You're not going, you can't go, right? And because education really wasn't important in my family, but it was important for Miss Smith, and I thought, I have to try, right? So I remember just being in the living room, and I hear like somebody at the door, and so like I go, and it's like, Miss Smith is at my house, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So she's like, where's your mom? And I'm like, she's in the back? Why? And she's like, well, I want to talk to her. And I'm like, please don't. Like, please don't talk to my mom. And she's like, no, I need to talk to her. And so I was like, okay. So by then, I didn't have to get my mom because my mom's like right here. And she's like, what do you need? Right? Because my mom's kind of aggressive, like real aggressive. And so, but so is Miss Smith in this like really Southern kind of way. And she was really interesting. I forgot to say the part where she says words weird, where she would say like wash, she would put an R in it, and she would say wash, right? So like she had that kind of thing, right, going. Remember, so like crazy outfits, platinum hair, eyelashes, wash, right? So this lady's at my house, right, in Freer, like near like, you know, the government homes, like she's not supposed to be there at all. Like you're in the wrong neighborhood, Miss Smith. And so she's in now she's in the kitchen, and I have like, my dad has like deer jerky, like on a line, and Miss Smith is in my house, and she's like, I need your info, because Frank needs to fill out his FAFSA, and he's gonna go to school. And my mom was like, well, he hasn't told me that at all. Like, she's such a liar, right? She lied. So anyway, she gave me the information, so then she helped me fill out the FAFSA. So I got grants, right? So I ended up going to Texas A&M Kingsville. I lost touch with Miss Smith completely because I became a college student. I was gonna graduate in December, and then I got a call in November, like in 2000, because I was gonna graduate, yeah, I graduated in 2000. And it was Miss Smith, right? She, out of the blue, like 4 years, hadn't talked to her, and she's like, hey, you know, small talk, and then she says, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and there's no art teachers in Freer, and they're not letting me out of my contract. And I said, you know, if I find someone to be an art teacher, will you let me out of my contract? And the superintendent, who is Dr. Camacho, he's in Italia now, he said, sure, right? So then that's why she was calling me, but at the time I didn't realize it, and I was like, oh, really? So who are you gonna get? And she's like, well, you have to be the art teacher so I can leave. And I'm like, okay, right? So like Miss Smith forced me now to be the art teacher in Freer. So now I'm the art teacher in Freer, the second semester. So now I'm an art teacher. Didn't realize I was gonna be one, but hey, I was prepared, right? I knew the class, I knew the supplies, I knew the way she ran it. I became like, I was creative, right? I knew how to do stuff. So now I'm the art teacher. She was sick, she took off. She went into remission, and then she came back, and she ended up being a history teacher. So now she's like my coworker for a couple years. But the whole time I felt kind of weird, because like my art teacher was there, and then I was also teaching her daughter. So like I was teaching her daughter how to be an artist, but like she was way better than me. But anyway, so there was Miss Smith. So I decided to like I felt terrible every time because I knew Miss Smith wanted her art room back. So I ended up going to McKinney, which is north of Dallas, and I took my whole family because I was in my late 20s. And we went for like about 8 years or so. That's where I was before I became an AP here. And in 2007, I remember her calling and she was like, so, you know, you're doing well as an art teacher, but what about you as an artist? Are you like selling your work? Are you doing that? And I'm like, I'm getting into like group shows and stuff, and I'm selling like stuff in like California and like Mexico, and I'm doing like just group stuff. She's like, you should do a solo show, you should try. And I'm like, I don't really have enough stuff. And she's like, no, do it, right? So again, Miss Smith now is like forcing me to do a solo show. So then all of a sudden I'm just doing all this work because Miss Smith told me. Again, I don't know why she had this control over me, but she did. And because I guess she believed in me like when I was younger, so I just kept going. So I did a solo show in 2007, and it was in Austin on Congress Street. And the first painting I did was actually the cowboy that's in my office, and that's the only painting that I kept. And at the time, it was a combination. It was the musical from the Loteria cards and a combination of Pablo Picasso's musician in the Blue Period. I don't know if y'all get it. Anyway, it's a combo. So that's the only painting that I kept and from that show, and so to remember it. And I invited like my friends and my family, and there was people from like Austin, you know, socialites that showed up, and people from like Dallas that I knew that showed up. And it was like a pretty good show, and I was by myself, and it was kind of amazing. And then Miss Smith showed up, right? I didn't invite her, I didn't think to invite her, but she showed up with her daughter, and I was super pumped about the fact that she was there. And I remember her giving me a really big hug, and she said, I'm so proud of you, keep pushing, you can do anything, right? Like in my ear. And it was a really great night, and I didn't realize at the time that her cancer came back, and that was the last time that I saw her. She passed away. And so Miss Smith, that was the last moment that I saw her. She thought to come to my art show knowing that she was sick. I didn't realize that her daughter at the time had to drive her because she was too ill to drive herself. She didn't tell me that. I just remember her being this like bright, shiny person, still with really big blonde hair. And then that was the last time I saw her. So now I'm here. And I always think about Miss Smith when it gets really hard. And I hear her in my head saying like, keep pushing, you can do anything. And sometimes I say it sarcastically when it gets really hard. I'll roll my eyes, keep pushing, you'll do anything, right? You can do anything. But I can still hear her. And that is the power of an educator that can influence someone forever. So I went from someone who wasn't gonna go to college to someone who got I got my bachelor's, then I received my master's, and then in December I finished my doctorate. And I did that for myself, I did that for my family, and I did that for like my parents who didn't believe in education for the first time, like ever. I wanted to show them what education can do, and I wanted to show the influence that an educator can have on students. So I don't know, if it wasn't for Miss Smith, I'd probably still be in their house, like drawing Wolverine in a spiral, and I'm very grateful for her. And so that's my story, and it's your turn now. So thank you so much. I hope you all enjoy the rest of the ceremony. I forgot to call the next person. So Adriana Lopez. You have yours. This is your paper. Ready? Okay. You want to hold
those? Yeah. Good morning, friends and family. I am extremely honored to have the opportunity to be up here and give thanks to my educators. Oh my God. I would like to start by thanking all of the teachers who have played a part in my life. Every teacher deserves to be recognized for the patience and determination they have for their students. They work long hours, often taking work home with them to ensure that their students receive the education that they deserve. Additionally, they often use money from their own pockets to guarantee that their classrooms are well stocked with supplies and are welcoming for their students. Teachers often don't get the recognition. the recognition they deserve, so I would like to thank every teacher here today for dedicating their lives to the education of future generations. I am and will always be grateful for the teachers who have had a significant influence on my life. One teacher that I would like to give a special thanks to is one of my elementary school teachers. The teacher I've chosen was my second grade teacher, and although I was in her class 10 years ago, she still plays a significant role in my life. I know the year that I was her student was a particularly hard year for her because it was the year that she lost her only brother. Although she was grieving the loss of her brother, she never gave up on her students. She showed up every day to educate and create a positive environment for her students. She always made learning fun and exciting with her lesson plans. One thing she never failed to do was go above and beyond for the holidays. Some of my favorite memories from her classroom were drinking hot chocolate and watching the Polar Express in her classroom during Christmas, as well as listening to her read scary stories during Halloween. Now, 10 years later, she still plays an important role in my life. She has become more than a teacher to me, and I now consider her a friend. She is one of my biggest supporters, and she has taught me to be proud of my successes as well as my failures. She has taught me that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. I am extremely honored to be able to choose Mrs. Anali Chapa as my influential educator. Thank you for being more than just a teacher. You have been a great friend and a role model. I am so grateful for everything that you have done for me.
Miss Anali Chapa, please come to the stage to receive your award. Our next student that we're going to have read their speech is Arturo Gonzalez. Please come on up.
My influential educator is a teacher who has brought smiles to many faces, even though their subject might not do the same. This teacher has made the biggest impact in my life and has made learning fun. Although taking notes almost daily was grueling, everyone did it since you would take us step by step through every problem. When someone needed help, you would walk through the problem with them over and over until they understood. Not once have I seen you sitting at your desk doing nothing. Either you'd be walking around the class helping anyone who needed it, or you'd be sitting at your desk, but you'd be grading papers or still helping people that were sitting around you. I had started looking up to you ever since I was in your class my freshman year. You were a kind, patient, and caring teacher, and I wanted to treat others the way that you treated students every year. Sadly, I wasn't able to be in a class with you my senior year, but I was glad to know that your door would always be open if I needed any help. Thankfully, I was able to have you as my UIL coach throughout my high school career, and although I might not have gotten far, I know that you had faith and believed in me every time we would go to a competition. Although it might seem obvious to most, my influential educator is Miss Meyer. Miss Meyer, you have been an amazing teacher, and I am so glad that I had the privilege of learning algebra, geometry, and pre-calculus from you. You might not know this, but in my house, you are like family to all of us. We even call you Tia Meyer. Thanks to you, Thanks to you being an amazing teacher, I was able to help out my friends or the people around me who needed help. To all of this, I am thankful. Once again, thank you, Ms. Meyer, for being the greatest teacher I could have ever asked for.
We have somebody. I thought we were gonna. She's gonna do it. Anna E. Anna E. Well, you ready?
Good morning, my name is Ana Martinez. Whether it is a frightened elementary student on their first day of school, a nervous teenage middle school student, or a high school senior who is ready to graduate, all of these students at any level look for the same qualities in a teacher: a kind smile, a friendly laugh, or just a bubbly personality. Those are all features that make a student feel comfortable in the classroom. But the teacher that made me feel the most comfortable in the classroom is not known for having such qualities, at least not outwardly. He does not smile much, does not laugh much, and he is not known for his bubbly personality. But when I was in his classroom, I felt so at ease. He conducted his class in a very set routine, which gave me, the student, comfort in knowing what to expect every day. The routine and the fact that he expected accountability from his students led me to be successful in his classroom. In fact, I often would compare a lesser structured classroom with his. I would find myself wanting more discipline because I knew that it helped me become a better student. The fear of the unknown was something you did not have to worry about in his class. Not only was I able to experience his effectiveness in the classroom, but on the softball field for a total of 4 years as well. He ran our softball team like how he ran his classroom, from his daily practice schedules to our after-game duties. He always had everything planned, and his effective planning really works. I had the honor to have played on 2 different district champion teams under his coaching. I have seen firsthand how the most inexperienced player can sharpen their skills under his coaching and come out a better player. He is not known to coddle the athletes or make excuses for us when we mess up. But that's exactly how I feel I have succeeded under his direction, both in the classroom and on the field. Do not get me wrong. Some people view his coaching and teaching techniques to be a bit harsh or perhaps not as friendly as they could be. But in life, not everything is easy or friendly. We all need someone to be honest with us and to hear the truth, no matter how difficult it may be to hear. His ways have guided me throughout my high school career and will continue to help me as I enter my next chapter of my life. I am truly blessed to have been taught and coached by this teacher throughout my middle school and high school years. He has had a major role in the person I am today. But most importantly, I am grateful to have the privilege to call this teacher and coach my dad. Not many are given the opportunity to be taught by their parent in the classroom, much less to be coached by them as well. And for this, I am forever grateful. With that being said, I would like to welcome my influential educator to the stage, my dad, Mr. George Martinez.
Juliana, you ready? Of course.
For this speech, I wasn't really sure where to start. I could start with the classic and name some really good times or go into a lot of depth about this teacher who affected my life early on. Growing up, I was an extremely shy person and I dealt with a lot of unknown anxiety. Due to that, I was a quiet student and was very unmotivated to even try to be a well-rounded student. I was just scraping by. When I first met this teacher, I just expected another year of school that would take forever to end, but this teacher did not allow that. The teacher was someone that seemed to see something in me that I would have never discovered without them. This teacher decided that regardless of my lack of confidence, they would make it their personal goal to see me succeed and change my perspective on education and my future. This teacher used to strongly encourage me to read in front of the entire class, even though I was a student who was constantly in speech therapy and one who had trouble when it came to reading and writing due to my speech impediment. Which makes it ironic that I'm standing up here speaking currently and continue to do many competitions that required me to speak in front of many people. Not only did they have me read in front of the entire class, they also had me read to them in Spanish, even though I never retained any of the information, which in the long run helped me with my speech therapy. This teacher somehow was able to help me break through my comfort zone and become the person I am today. She has had a wonderful impact on my life, and I'm proud to say that with her help, I will be attending the University of Texas, Austin, and have decided to major in neuroscience. So thank you, Ms. Diana Rodriguez, for having a strong impact on my life in 3rd grade. I will be forever grateful and will always hold a special place for you in my heart and my life.
Brandon, ready?
Please excuse if there's like any repetition in here because it was like made like maybe last night. Growing up, we all have that one educator who made a positive impact on our lives. For me, that teacher I met in elementary. I first met her in elementary school after I moved from Ensenada to Cotulla and attended RBE, where she helped me in my kindergarten class. She was patient, kind, and always encouraged me to do my best. When I was in middle school, this teacher would help my siblings, and she helped at the drop-off at RBE, so even if she wasn't my teacher then, I still got to see her almost every day. Even though I was no longer in elementary, this teacher still wanted me to do my best in school and was now an influence on my younger siblings. In high school, this teacher came and was placed into the construction class, then the ISS teacher, and now she's in the library. Since we were both on the same campus every day now, I would visit her and maybe get some stuff off my chest because she was always there to listen and lend a hand. Now that it is senior year, applications and my dual credit classes were the only things running through my mind. As always, this person was always there to listen and help me with stuff I needed. She printed out my English notes and helped me revise my application and my resume. She prepared me for college and helped me edit all my writings. This person was not just an educator, but a mentor and a friend. She inspired me to pursue my dreams and never give up. Ms. Silva, thank you for everything you have done for me and for being such an influential educator in my life. I hope that one day I can be as inspiring, as impactful as you've been in my life, because you have not only taught me the importance of education, but the importance of kindness, patience, and perseverance. I will always be grateful for the lessons you have taught me and the memories we have shared. I also want to thank all the other teachers who have made a difference in my life. You have played a role in shaping who I am today. Your dedication to education has not gone unnoticed, and I am grateful for everything you have done for me and for all your students. I hope that you continue to inspire and motivate future generations. As I prepare to graduate and move on to the next chapter of my life, I will always remember the lessons you have taught me. I will carry them with me forever, wherever I go, and use them to make a positive impact on the world. Thank you for being more than just teachers, but mentors, role models, and friends. I am proud to have been a student of yours, and I will always be grateful for the impact you have made in my life. Most of all, Ms. Silva, you will forever be my influence on education throughout my childhood. Because now as an adult, I am going to use those lessons and skills you have taught me to succeed in life. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone has had a great morning. First of all, I want to shout out to all my class. We finally made it, and the big day is coming up. It has been a great journey with you guys, and it is time for us to spread our wings and to see what the world has to offer us. I would like to thank all the staff at Cotulla I.S.D. because without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. All my former teachers, coaches, staff, and friends who have contributed to my high school career. It has been a long journey, countless hours of work put into athletics, studies, and more, but it was all worth it. This has been a very exciting journey for me because I am preparing to close one chapter of my life and open another chapter of my life. I was asked to give a name to somebody who has been influential throughout my school years. This person not only was influential to me during my school years, but this person was also influential at home. She took care of me at school, and she took care of me at home when I needed her the most. Whether it would help me study or to comfort me when I was ill, she was always there. My mom, Melanie Ayala, the district nurse, is my most influential educator. She educated me the importance of being a responsible, trustworthy, and humble young man that I am today. There would be occasions where I would have trouble with homework or other things throughout my school years, but she always made the time to help with my academics. I was never the most athletic or the smartest, but she taught me that I can do anything that I can put my mind to. Through the ups and downs, wins and losses, she always taught me to hold my head up high like a champion and to be proud of where I came from. My mom's influence has taught me that it's not about falling down, but it's about getting back up after I have fallen. I love you, Mom, and thank you for making the man that I am today, graduating from Cotulla High School. Thank you.
I know that for my fellow classmates and I, we have thought about our speeches and who we would give our award to since we were freshmen, and some of us even before that. Although being a freshman, I hadn't had many teachers in high school yet, I knew who I would give my award to. I've had many good and even great teachers in my school career, but none like the person I am giving my award to today. The teacher I'm giving this award to is someone who genuinely cares about their students and wants them to succeed. During my junior year, I missed 2 weeks of school when my dad had COVID. And I don't know if any of you have had to miss 2 weeks of calculus and then come back, but it was difficult to say the least. When I came back to class, I had absolutely no idea what was going on and was utterly lost. My teacher let me sit by their desk so I could receive help with all the assignments that I missed. While I was working, my teacher was grading my classmates' papers, and as they were grading, I heard them talking underneath their breath, so I was curious and looked over. What I was hearing was when a student would miss a question, I would hear, "Dang it," or "so close." This teacher had no idea that I even witnessed them doing it, and they may not have even realized that they were. But it showed me how they genuinely just wanted all of us to succeed. Although this person is an amazing teacher, and I can say that because I was lucky enough to have them for 3 years, they not only care about their students' grades, but their students' well-being. I cannot thank them enough for being there for me when it felt like I had no one. This teacher was there for me through my problems with friends, boys, families, and losing someone that was very close to all of us. This person has made it known that their door is always open and that I could always come to them, and for that I am forever grateful. Ms. Meyer, you have shown me an incredible amount of kindness over the past 4 years, and you have shown me the kind of person I want to be in my future. So please come and accept this award.
I'm a big crybaby, so try to get through this with me. Good morning, fellow students and staff. It has been a pleasure and a gift to be able to come up here and give this speech for y'all. There have been many influences in my journey, and although the decision was tough, I now know who I want to give this award to. School is hard. For some students, intelligence comes easy, but for others, it takes someone who is truly passionate in what they teach to teach these kids. I would say I am somewhere in the middle. For certain subjects, I do have my advantage, but for others, it is extremely difficult for me to learn. As someone who is going into the STEM field, this STEM teacher has proven time after time that they deserve this award. 3 years was all it took. Coming into high school, we don't know exactly what to expect, but I thought I had this subject down. In 8th grade, I was a high average student in this subject. But freshman year took me by surprise. I had no idea what I was doing. We went from multiplying numbers to trying to figure out what Pythagorean theorem is. I still don't know what it is. But she did try. There was something that this teacher said that stuck with me, mainly because it made me feel better about not understanding geometry at all. She had said, most people who are good at algebra aren't that great at geometry. And for someone like me who sucked at geometry but was good at algebra, this meant a lot to me. I told you I was a crybaby. It makes you feel as if you're enough. She taught me that you can't be good at everything, but to still continue trying because it is still possible to become better at it. This teacher was someone everyone adored and felt welcome by. Many teachers don't realize it, but standing at the door for your class means a lot. It shows that you truly care about your students. From experience, I have learned that a student who doesn't feel comfortable in your classroom probably won't succeed in happiness and success. You see, for many students, you may be the first person to greet them and make them feel secure in their everyday life. This teacher was someone who stood by the door every morning just to say good morning. But what was best of all was that she was real. There were no fake emotions. Everything in her class was real and made you feel at home. Professionalism is something you hear so often in the workforce, but I think the world forgets that we aren't robots yet, and we are allowed to feel emotions, including teachers. My influencer understood these emotions and tried to understand them to a deeper level on how we felt that way and why. If you wanted to talk, she was always there to talk. When I wanted to joke around, she would joke around with me. And to me, this means everything. School was already boring enough. So having a teacher who tries to make it just a little better changes your whole mood. I didn't realize how much I needed you until I started doing college algebra. Math hasn't made sense since I've been away from your class. So thank you for everything you've done for my class and I. You're the kind of teacher that someone never forgets. So Miss Mara, can you come up to the stage? Thank you.
I can't really remember not ever being in sports, especially in high school, because every year I was in at least one or two. And every year, without fail, I quit them. I had liked the teams and the coaches, but I always had a reason as to why I needed to quit. And the biggest one of them all was that I was just really lazy. That's why I was surprised I joined powerlifting and finished the season. But when I really thought about it, I actually couldn't have done it without Coach Hernandez. Like all coaches and teachers, he noticed the little things, like when I started to come to practice later than usual. He asked me, "Are you all right? Are you staying up late or working a lot?" Of course, I was honest, and I told him I just wanted to sleep in. But it made me feel good knowing he cared. I also really liked the way he was able to push me with his straightforwardness and sarcasm. Like when we were at our last meet that would determine if any of the girls on our team could go to regionals, I was really nervous, and it showed because that day I missed my first and last lift for squat. I felt terrible and knew I had messed up. This was my first and last year in powerlifting, and I couldn't stop thinking that if this meet was really my last one, I would have ruined it by letting my nerves get the best of me. I went to my mom and just started crying. She was trying to calm me down and telling me everything was going to be okay, but I still felt so emotional and disappointed. In myself. And as I'm getting ready to start warming up for bench, here comes Coach Hernandez, who looks at me and just says, "Why are you crying?" And literally just like that, I stopped. I mean, if he didn't seem worried, then I didn't need to be worried either, and I did pretty good the rest of the meet with that in mind. Coach Hernandez really helped me push myself to reach my potential, whether it was by telling me, "You sure you can lift that?" and then telling me to add more weight, or by just making sure I was okay. Even though I had him as a coach for a short time, joining his team was the best decision I've ever made, and I will always remember him and the team.
Sarah.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fellow students, today I stand before you to express my heartfelt appreciation and respect for a teacher who has played a significant role in shaping the person I am today. Mrs. Lizette Cutler, my former educator, has had an immeasurable impact on my life, and it is an honor to share with you the profound importance an educator can have on their students. Throughout our educational journey, we encounter numerous individuals who guide and inspire us. But there are those special few who leave an undeniable mark on our hearts and on our minds. Mrs. Cutler is one such exceptional educator. From the very first day I walked into her classroom, I knew that she was different. Her passion for teaching and genuine care for her students was distinguished, creating a learning environment where every student felt valued and empowered. One of the most significant ways Mrs. Cutler enhanced my life was by boosting my academic performance. With her unwavering dedication, she went above and beyond to ensure that we not only mastered the curriculum, but also developed a genuine love for learning. Mrs. Cutler's teaching methods were innovative and engaging, captivating our attention and making even the most challenging subjects seem fascinating, which says a lot for math. She believed in her students' potential and tirelessly worked for unlocking our hidden talents. When the inevitable hurdles of academic life appeared, Mrs. Cutler was always there to support and encourage me. During times when I struggled with testing anxiety, her unwavering belief in my abilities gave me strength to persevere. Mrs. Cutler never doubted my potential, and she consistently reminded me that I was capable of achieving anything that I had set my mind to. Her words of reassurance were like a beacon of life during those dark moments, allowing me to conquer my fears and perform the best of my abilities. But Mrs. Cutler's influence extended far beyond academics. She instilled in me a new-founded confidence and belief in myself. Through her nurturing guidance, she taught me the value of self-belief and the importance of embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. Her genuine care for her students went beyond the classroom walls, as she consistently fostered an atmosphere of trust, respect, and kindness. Mrs. Cutler's influence reached deep into my core, transforming me not only as a student, but as a person. Today, as I reflect upon my journey, I realize the profound impact Mrs. Cutler has had on my life. She taught me not just the subjects found in textbooks, but also the invaluable lessons of perseverance, determination, and self-belief. She taught me that success is not merely measured by grades, but by the courage to overcome obstacles and the willingness to embrace personal growth. It is for these reasons and countless others that I am honored to present the Bell Award, a symbol of my appreciation and respect to Mrs. Lizette Cutler. Her dedication, passion, and unwavering belief in her students has forever changed my life, and I am eternally grateful. Mrs. Cutler, you have been the guiding light and have helped me navigate the challenging path of education. And I know I am not alone in expressing my deep appreciation for your incredible impact. As we celebrate the remarkable educators in our lives, let us never forget the immeasurable power they hold to shape and mold future generations. Let us honor and recognize their tireless efforts, their unwavering support, and the incredible influence they have on their students. Thank you, Mrs. Cutler, for being an exceptional educator, mentor, and friend. Your legacy will continue to inspire me and countless others for years to come. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Isaiah Salivar, and when I heard that I had to make an influential teacher speech, I knew who. Oh, sorry. There you go. I know exactly who to wrote about. Nobody else has taught me in such a short time as in one class period each day. But ever since 6th grade, I have found not only a passionate teacher, but a role model in person that I wish to honor. For everything he has done for me, the least I can do is repay him for his kindness and to tell him how he truly means to me and to hundreds of other students. I have never met anyone as dedicated and patient as Mr. Elio Ramirez. When I first met Mr. Ramirez, I had no idea what to expect. I just entered 6th grade, and I was barely 5 feet tall and afraid of everything. New middle school felt so unfamiliar to me, and I was so convinced I have never felt right walking in those halls. But when I entered the band, or mariachi hall, for the first time, I felt right at home. But there are mornings when I dread about going to school, knowing the expectations that weighed heavily on my shoulders. But every year, since first period and second period, every day, either when it was in band or mariachi, I know I will get to see Mr. Ramirez. Sorry. His caffeinated fuel morning energy and his words of greeting are enough to make me smile through the day. But not just me, other kids as well. He had such enthusiasm for life and passion for teaching that it spills over into everyone that he meets. Sometimes I would even think that he was related to me, because every single morning he would call me by my name, but he would exaggerate it. Isaiah, Isaiah. But it always made me smile. And it kind of freaked me out a bit, because even my family would do it. But even on the hardest mornings, he could put a smile on my face, even in front of students. And he was one of those type of people that would always put a smile on our faces, even though he could possibly having a bad day. But I failed to see that. His words of encouragement and his empowerment of banda was the best that they can be. Even when Mr. Martinez or Mr. Ramirez will always yell at us, he always found a way to make us feel better. But, sorry. Not only that he taught me so much about music, but he taught me how to be a better person and how to be responsible. Like to stay on top of my grades, to always drink my orange juice, and to always attend all bands or mariachi events. He was like another father, but a father that I never had. So, sorry. So when it came to things like this, if you upset him in any way, shape, or form, the outcome was not pretty. So I tended to always impress Mr. Ramirez in any way I can. Either it was through grades or even performing. But man, I tell you, his words always light me up every time. And the words that I can never forget the most was, "I'm so proud of you." Except when he says that I was like my dad, but anyways. The last thing I want to end off is that he taught me not to fear anything. There was a saying that he said to the most of the band kids was, "It's just black ink on white paper." And what he means by that is that no matter how hard the music may look, you can overcome it. Don't let hard rhythms or high notes scare you. Practice, take your time, and learn. And to be honest, and it took heart. Whenever I had a hard test coming up or a competition, that always popped up in my head. It was kind of like a saying like, "Don't give up." And sometimes I would even hear his voice saying my name, Isaiah, in my head. But not only that, the lessons that Mr. Ramirez had taught me were invaluable, were extremely important. Not only that they strengthened the foundation of my life, they were the building blocks of my future. He has been an exemplary role model and has taught me to have many strong traits. I can be trustworthy and hardworking, while never losing sight of who I am as an individual. And when I have a goal, I am going to reach it. Mr. Ramirez has been one of the teachers that affected my life the most. He did not influence me to go to college and get a degree, but he influenced me to be the best at anything that I set out to be. Thank you.
As I stand here today, I would like to express my deep gratitude and admiration to an influential educator whose influence has had a profound impact on my academic career. My chosen mentor and guide, Ms. Gonzalez, holds a special place in my heart because of her unwavering dedication and profound impact on the beginning of my educational journey. Beyond her exceptional teaching skills, Ms. Gonzalez possessed a unique ability to connect with her students on a personal level. She genuinely cared about our well-being, not just academically, but also emotionally and mentally. She took the time to understand our strengths, weaknesses, and aspirations, and provided guidance and support accordingly. Her empathy and compassion created a safe space in which we felt valued, heard, and understood. Ms. Gonzalez, your impact on my life is immeasurable. You have not only equipped me with the academic tools necessary for success, but also imparted invaluable life lessons that will guide me for years to come. You have inspired me to believe in myself, to embrace challenges, and to strive for excellence in all that I do.
I know that I might not be in the top 10 and this speech should only be a couple of paragraphs long, but that would not do justice to my influential leader at CHS. I may not have much to show from my 4 years here at CHS, but I have made some really great friends and met some great teachers along the way. One teacher specifically in my 12 years of grade school has stood out to me beyond measure. I had the pleasure of taking this teacher's class my junior year, and this is when my relationship with this teacher really took off. I don't think that I have ever expressed myself to this teacher about how much they mean to me and how much they have impacted my life. But as all the teachers that have had me know that I stand by my quote, better late than never. This teacher would stay after hours when they did not have to, just to help me catch up on work, not only in their class, but in others. This teacher quickly became a friend as well as a great mentor. Many times we would get caught up in deep conversations and about real life matters that other teachers would not have with me. This teacher has always believed in me whenever I found it difficult to believe in myself. I have always had struggles with time management and staying on task with my work, Therefore, I have had constant doubt about my academic ability, but this teacher was always the first person to clear that all up. I have already once chosen this teacher as my football jersey pick for the most impactful teacher award, but that was just not enough for me. So I just wanted to give one more huge thank you and show my appreciation to none other than Mr. Reynaldo Garcia.
Joanne Guzman, are you going to come up and give your award?
I didn't prepare a speech, so my influential educator has been there for me since I was very young. She's been there for me through my ups and downs and through my elementary when I was going through a lot of hard stuff. She's coached me, she's helped me at home, she's done a lot of stuff that no one understands. When I was going through a lot in middle school, she would be the only one to help me and guide me in the right path. When I was going through a lot of hardships in life, and when I was going through a lot of struggles, she would be the only one to push me in the right direction and to influence me that there's always going to be a grass is greener on the other side. She's shown me that hard work and dedication doesn't just come from inside the classroom, but outside. My Influential Educator Award goes to none other than my mom, Christina Few.
All right. Now my guy knows who I picked, so if you see this person start crying, he's okay. I'm kidding. This man can only be described as a hero to many kids, but to me, he has been a mentor. We call him by many nicknames, Mr. B or Mr. Sir. As well, he has helped me academically, agriculturally, and has always had my back. There's many late memories of our late FFA trips, our late barbecue meets, where we're in the middle of nowhere, no light in sight, can barely see the road in front of us, everyone's asleep, crying, getting mad at everything, we're tired, full of grease, charcoal, burns, cuts, everything, but he's always knew how to put a smile on our face. He would be driving, I'd sometimes have aux if Damien wasn't on it, or he'd be asleep, and we'd change a song from his phone, and we would just talk. We'd talk about life. I'd tell him some problems. He wouldn't tell me any of his, because whatever he has to do with schooling or whatever. Wish we could go to your wedding, Mr. B. We'll find it. But he's really helped me overcome some things, a lot of things. So I thank you. And I say all of this, find someone like Mr. Betancourt. My influential educator is to Mr. Betancourt.
I don't know. Okay, I wrote it down. Okay. Dear Mr. B, I hope this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. I am writing to express my sincere gratitude and appreciation for all that you have done for me as my teacher. As I reflect on my academic journey, I realize that your guidance and support have been instrumental in shaping me into the person I am today. You have not only imparted knowledge, but also instilled in me a love for learning and a passion for excellence. Your patience, encouragement, and unwavering belief in me, in my abilities, have helped me overcome many challenges and obstacles. And for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you.
Reynaldo?
I just want to start off by saying thank you to Ms. Nance and Dr. Guerra for allowing us to do this today. Ms. Courtney, as we knew her, Dylan's mom, in third grade, was the best teacher a kid with dyslexia could have. When no one else understood the severity of my hearing loss, she did. She just sat me closer and spoke louder. As I finished second grade, she followed to third. As I finished third, she went to fourth. She believed in me when others gave up with the frustration with not being able to learn fast enough. She impacted my life to the point where my struggles no longer existed. I am who I am today because of you, Courtney. Thank you.
Josue Ortiz?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry. I have a speech prepared, but I would like to go off the speech and then add more to it. My influential educator would be Mrs. Marlene Maldonado. She is I'm sorry, I can't think right now. She's had a very positive influence on my life and many others' lives too, from CHS. She has congratulated me through many milestones in my career throughout CHS. She has, I'm sorry. She has brought me up through my toughest times throughout my 4 years of high school, especially during COVID. There was many times where I would just go inside her office and just sit there and speak to her for an hour or two. And I thank Ms. Maldonado for that because she has influenced me to become a better person and motivated me to stay on top of my grades and have better time management, even though I was doing terrible at one point. She has really helped me a lot these past 2 years with my grades and getting through school, and I thank her for that.
Gabriel Rodriguez.
This one individual is someone that has helped me so much throughout my high school years. She's always quick to put others before herself. My Influential Educator Award goes to Ms. Ann Canales. Ms. Canales is someone that goes above and beyond for all her students. She has become someone that I can go to whenever I needed someone to vent about anything. She has pushed me to be the best student I could be. I have no idea where I'd be without her.
Diana Tellez here. Diana Tellez. Jada.
Good morning, friends and family. Many of us have that one special person in our life, the one who listens to our crazy stories, the one who inspires us to be a better person, someone who believes in us, someone who listens without judgment. My influential educator is Ms. Ann Canales. Ms. Ann Canales works here at school and also takes college classes, and that alone lets me believe that I can do anything I set my mind on doing. Ms. Canales, you have always believed in me. You let me know that I have the potential to be anything that I desire. You are my role model. You have helped me and many students along the way. You have taught me so much. Our conversations throughout the years have been influential, and for that I am thankful. Thank you.
Okay, and we have one more award to give. The student is not here, unfortunately. The student is Diana Tellez, and this is her little paragraph that she wrote. One teacher who holds importance to me is Jose R. Gonzalez. He has a profound knowledge and a supportive demeanor and has made a lasting impact on my life. His selfless actions have taught me to be a better person, and to strive towards all aspects of my life. I am grateful to have an opportunity to learn from such a remarkable individual. Sorry for the mishap. It's Jose R. Gonzalez. Is he here? Okay.
So I want to thank all of you for writing and for submitting, and for those of you who submitted a paragraph for that. I want to thank you, all the educators who influence our students. Every single day, students are paying attention and they're watching, and even days when, as an educator myself, we're really tired. One moment, can change everything in a student's mind, and I know that you know that as educators, and thank you so much for everything that you've done, and thank you for your words, students. I think that was a really amazing moment, and thank you for enduring my art teacher story. I've never actually told that story, that was on the fly, but yeah, that was the truth. So thank you so much for today. Now that we've figured out and we've situated our photography situation, I really would like for all of you, to take a picture with your person, with your educator in the little sections here, and then one large group picture, okay? So nobody leave yet until all of those things happen, okay? Because we need to document, because it doesn't happen unless it's on social media, right? It never happened unless it's there. So awesome. Also, if students, we have your speeches here if you want to give your speech to your educator. Let's have our group picture first. And we're going to have it over here where the balloons are. Right? Oh, up here. Anais says up here. She's the boss. So we're going to have the group picture up here. Because it makes sense. Please don't. Please don't. They'll get us in trouble. I got in trouble yesterday.